Good afternoon. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what Transport Focus is and what we do, but I would like the majority of this session to actually be you giving your views to us. And I've got a couple of colleagues here today, Stuart on the stool at the back and Lee here with a pile of red bits of paper which you'll no doubt try to thrust into your hands. So I'd like it to be very interactive, either here at the end of the session or come and see us on our stand the other side of the TransAid stand just over there. So what is Transport Focus? Well, we are the independent user watchdog, and we represent the interests of all users of the strategic road network in England. So it's not the local roads, it's just the Highways England network. And all does mean all. It not only means cyclists on bits of the all-purpose trunk road, but it also means people not only driving lorries, but also the employers of those people. And so a very important part of our job is to understand the logistics sector's views as to what Highways England needs to deliver on your behalf. We are a consumer organisation. We are not there to campaign on behalf of any particular issue, the environment, the neighbours of the roads or the railways. It's just purely the interests of those users of the transport systems. What we say and do is based on evidence. We spend quite a lot of our time doing primary research and making sure that what we advocate is grounded in what users actually think. And then the other thing is, if we are not useful to people, there is not a great deal of point in us existing. So please tell us how we can be useful to you. So we'll get on now to the section about questions. And I'm going to pose a series of questions that we can come back to either at the end here or over at our stand, or drop us a line later. Please do. First point, actually, since we acquired this roads remit in the end of March last year, we've actually been really surprised how undemanding of Highways England the sector appears to be. Why that is, I don't know. But in comparison with how demanding customers of the railway are, the sector feels actually quite accepting of what it gets, which is interesting. You may have a different view, but that is how it appears to us. But questions that I would pose and would be very helpful to us if we got your answers to is, what do you need? Do you need better communications? Do you need the Highways England as your supplier to understand your needs more effectively, either on a national basis or a local basis? And is it in general terms, or is it just about roadworks? So that is one we'd be interested in your views about. What actually matters to you most? Is it the predictability of journey time, or is it the journey time per se? From your perspective, what matters? And are there different views around the sector? Do different types of market have different needs? Another thing that we actually are onto with Highways England at the moment, and we will stay on their backs until it improves, is the accuracy of roadworks information. So I'd be very interested to understand from your perspective, how far in advance do you need it to be absolutely accurate? For example, this may not be a good analogy, but on the railway, it's all supposed to be agreed 12 weeks in advance. Do you need that kind of level of clarity that far out, or is it 24 hours? Is it 7 days? Please tell us, and then we will be able to advocate that on your behalf. Surface quality is a very interesting subject. HGV drivers tell us that it is their top priority for Highways England to improve on the strategic network. And you can see broadly the boxes go down in the order of importance to people. Is that the view of the employers of the drivers? I mean, do you have a different perspective? Is there an issue around wear and tear that makes that equally a priority for you, or are other things more important? Please do tell us. Roadside Facilities, this is an area where we've just completed some research and we'll be publishing the findings in the summer. Is there an issue from your perspective in lorry drivers not being able to stop where they need to stop at the time they need to stop? Does that impact on staff welfare, the recruitment and retention, which has been the subject of a lot of discussion today, obviously, at the conference? Is it a safety issue? Are you finding that your drivers have had their statutory breaks and are actually going back no less exhausted than they were when they stopped? And then is there a question around the safety, the security in terms of theft and things of goods whilst you are parked up? And cost and value. I mean, are you willing to pay if you are getting good value for money for those facilities? These things are all very useful for us to know about. Now, before we get on to the questions section, or my taking your questions, just a final word on the new survey which we are currently devising. The Strategic Roads User Survey will replace the National Road User Satisfaction Survey, which Highways Agency / England have been conducting for a while. Our new one will be have a sample size of roughly 10 times as big, so there'll be much more granularity, ability to cut it by different user groups and indeed geography. So that's going on at the moment, and we will look to launch that in early 2017. At the same time, we are looking to develop a survey of the logistics sector's satisfaction with Highways England and the services it provides. Hopefully we will come back to one or two of you may end up answering that in due course. So you can keep up to date with what we're doing. We have a monthly electronic newsletter. Please feel free to subscribe to that, and as I say, come and see us later. But I'd like to use the rest of my time, it's just over 5 minutes. Please, does anybody have any answers, any thoughts they would like to share around any of the questions that I have just posed to you? For those of you who didn't hear the question, mobile and data connectivity on the Strategic Road Network, it hasn't come through any of our research so far as being a major challenge. Certainly not in the way that, for instance, rail passengers demand Wi-Fi now. So not yet. It may, of course, emerge in due course. It might be something that the sector, as distinct from its staff, feel more strongly about, and if that's the case, please tell us. But no is the answer to your question. So essentially an open data question on Highways in England's own understanding of the network. I do know that the company is considering its whole approach to transparency at the moment, and we very much support the idea that get as much of this data out as possible, and other people will do useful things with it that you wouldn't in a million years have thought might be useful. So no, we're strongly in favour of that. We've seen what's happened with some of the data that's released now routinely by Network Rail. They've been very useful to passengers, and we would argue the same is likely to happen for road users. So strongly supportive of it. Thank you very much indeed.